Oh, yeah, there we go. Perfect. Yo, what's going on, bro? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. Not doing too bad.
Good, good. It's good to catch up, man. It's been a while. Last time I saw you was before I went traveling. That was ages ago.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Wow.
first of all, thank you for joining, man. I appreciate it a
Welcome,
lot.
man. Sorry, man. My Bluetooth's being
No problem.
a bit shit. Disconnect. Man, it keeps connecting to my phone.
No worries. It started.
Right, there we go. Go on.
Cool.
Yeah. It's been a while, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has, mate. It's been good though. It's good that we're doing this catch up because then we can obviously record it all and get it all on camera. So yeah, I appreciate you joining. First of all, for the people that are listening, even though
No problem.
people that are listening are probably mostly your people anyway. But people that don't know you, just explain who you are, what you do, and then we'll just dive straight into it.
Cool. So my name is Adam Gemili. I am a British sprinter. I have representing Great Britain at every sort of level you can. European Championships, Commonwealth Games, World Championships, and Olympic Games. Yeah, and I just try and run as fast as I can every day. That's basically it. So it's nothing too complicated about it, but yeah, that's me.
How did it all start? Like, is it athletics you knew you wanted to do, or was it like a process? Did you do loads of different sports and then you kind of figured it out?
I played football. I was always a footballer. I love football, had dreams of playing football for England, and my dream was always to play in the Champions League and listen to the music, stand in the line. But yeah, I sort of was playing football and I was at a good level. I was at a really good level. Got offered a pro contract at football, but the pro wasn't sort of enough for me to completely give up on maybe going to university. And I dabbled in athletics as well before sort of I turned 18, like in school and stuff. And I'd always win every race that I did. And then at the age of 18, I sort of made the decision, why don't I try athletics for the year? It would give me an opportunity to see how fast I can run and potentially open up opportunities for me to go to university at the end of the year. Yeah. And that was the year of 2012. And then I ended up making the Olympic team. And I was like, if this is my first real year to start playing, like sort of training for athletics, and I'm making the Olympics, I've got to just commit to it and see how far I can get in the sport. So yeah, sort of continued from there, really.
So was it a fast process? Was it quite fast in terms of going into athletics and then all of a sudden kind of being in the Olympics team, or was it a
yeah, it
process? Was it fast?
Nah, for me to get into the Olympic Games was people training their whole lives for the Olympics, and for me to come in sort of for the first year, started training properly in January, and to make that Olympic team was just crazy, sort of unprecedented. And in 2012, there was sort of a lot of attention. I was the youngest on the athletics team, and that's really where I sort of built my sort of first steps of my reputation of making that team. But usually athletics is a slow, steady process. You work away, you train so hard for these hundreds and thousands of seconds. And for me, I made such big drops in that year that, yeah, I was lucky enough to be picked for the London Olympics.
Did you, obviously football probably helped with that as well, because obviously football, you're doing a lot of sprinting up and down the pitch and stuff like that. So
massively.
Talking about the education side of things, do you actually need an education in terms of, getting into the Olympics and stuff like that, or is that irrelevant?
Nah, it doesn't matter. Okay. So you don't need any sort of qualifications, I get, to run in the Olympic Games. For me, education has always been important. So yeah, okay. I was able to secure myself a university spot at the end of that 2012 year, and I spent 3 years at University of East London getting my degree, which was fantastic. Parents were happy. Mum's always pushing me every day to get a master's and then try and go for a PhD, but she told me get your degree and then you can do what you want. So I got my degree and now I'm full-time athlete, which is what I want to do.
That's sick, man.
Yeah.
What's the training process like? Because I can imagine the intensity of it, because obviously my girlfriend's brother is gymnast for Great Britain, so I obviously see a little bit, but obviously it's two different sports, but I do see the intensity of the training. Does that still correlate to athletics? And instead of just running constantly, do you do any other conditioning training as well?
Yeah, of course. We train 6 days a week, and track and field is brutal. And it's so brutal because if you don't put the work in, no one is going to put the work in for you. And I guess you can't really say that to every other sport. A lot of individual sports you can, but like football, if you come in one day and you're not feeling it, you can coast, get the ball, pass it, give it, just you can have an off day and whatever. Yeah. Athletics, if you don't run, you don't get better, and everyone else is training hard. So we train 6 days a week, and it's not just on the track. We do gym 3 days a week. We do a lot of conditioning, a lot of plyometric stuff, a lot of bounding, a lot of hops, a lot of stuff to work on explosivity. Like I said, the strength training is crazy. And it's not just what you do while you're at training, it's what you do away from the track as well. You have to live the sport. There's no point in me going to training 4 or 5 hours a day, killing it, and then coming back and then eating McDonald's or eating something, whatever, like eating bad. Like you have to, recovery is as important, if not more important than the actual training you're doing. Can I train at a certain level and then recover enough to come back and do it the next day? And that's what not a lot of people get. It's the recovery is so important.
Of course, and it's same with bodybuilding as well. People just think, oh, if I lift the weights, I'm going to get rich.
Yeah.
It all comes to the diet. More than anything, that's probably the most important.
Diet. That's probably the bit I struggle with the most. That's the bit I have to be most disciplined with myself, because I'm not genetically built to be ripped. And you see these guys and they've got millions of abs and big pecs and biceps, and I'm never genetically, I'm built to be a fat boy. As soon as I finish running, my metabolism is like, yep, cool, we're ready to go, and I'm gonna get the biggest fat belly. So I have to really work a lot harder on my diet than I'd say most others, to really make sure I stay in shape and stay lean enough to be a sprinter.
Yeah, I'm the exact same, to be fair, mate. So in terms of the diet, do you kind of have someone telling you what to eat, or do you have like a meal plan, or someone that's on board,
I do work with a nutritionist who sends me a lot of ideas and food ideas, and she lets me have a lot of creative control, because I love cooking. Like I cook everything. If there's something I don't know how to cook, I'll learn how to cook it. So I can cook anything you want. Doesn't matter what style of food it is, spicy, not spicy, curry wise, like chicken, fish, everything. So, but she's very creative with it, and she just gives me a rough idea of what I need to be following, what sort of protein I need to be hitting, what times of day I need to be eating, making sure I'm recovering after my sessions, depending on what type of session it is. But for a long time, I was doing it by myself. And since I've started working with a nutritionist, it's helped me so much, because you don't have to think about it. You don't have to, it especially helps when you're going into a competition, because then you can only focus. She'll just write me a plan. She'll like, right, 9 a.m. breakfast, eat this, this, and this. 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, drink this with this much electrolytes in it. And she schedules it all based around my race. She's like, right, you're going to race here, and we work backwards from that. So then I only have to focus on the running, and the rest of the plan is like, okay, I look at my plan, right, breakfast, I need to eat this, this, and this, and I go and I eat it. So it's, nutrition is so key.
I want to kind of talk about your experiences, because it's funny hearing everyone's different experiences. So what was your first proper competition like, in terms of, like this, like, wow, proper taking it in? What competition was that, and what happened in that process as well? Where did you place, and how was you feeling mentally?
My first, so I've always competed in school and stuff, and I've always won. But there's one race that does stand out. It was the sort of one of the defining races of my career. Really, it could have gone one way or another. Yeah. So this was 2010. I want to say. So this was the Kent. This was a race in Kent when I was a bit young. When I was really young. Yeah. And it was the first time I was going to go and race in a proper, like, an athletic stadium in Ashford, and I was going to be racing adults, seniors, and I was like I was at 16, 17. I was really young, and I thought I was going to be racing people my own age. Yeah. And then my parents said to me, no, you're racing adults. And I was so lucky to even go there, because I had a free weekend in football. In football, we used to play every weekend, but some weekends we'd have free. And the athletics competition just fell under that free weekend. So they were like, oh, let's go and check it out. I was in the car crying, like I don't want to do it. I'm going to get embarrassed. Don't take me home now. I don't want to race. I'm nervous. I couldn't eat. I didn't eat breakfast because I threw it straight up. I was so nervous. And my mum and dad were like, just warm up, see how you feel, try running, and you're going to smash everyone. And I was like, I'm not. They're all adults. They're all going to batter me. Got on the start line, and obviously there's a bit of a crowd and stuff, and they call your name Adam Gemili, and your mum, you can hear your mum and dad clapping, but that's about it. Yeah. And then I raced, and I absolutely killed everyone. And then afterwards I was just like, wow, this feeling is sick. This is the best feeling in the world. I love this feeling. It's like an adrenaline rush that I'd never had with football before. Yeah. It's like I was in my own lane. It was all my performance, and yeah, it was fantastic. And people were taking the piss out of me in the warm-up because I was doing my football warm-up, high knees, open the gate, close the gate, hamstring stretch, quad stretch. So I was doing all my full football warm-up and I killed everyone. And that was my first real taste of what athletics at a good level could be like. And then my first senior competition was the Olympic Games. So it doesn't get bigger than that. My first time wearing a GB vest as a senior was 2012 Olympics. So the creme de la creme, the biggest of the biggest. So I had to sort of get ready for that.
In UK as well, it's like perfect timing, wasn't it, really? In terms of...
Yeah, nothing prepares you for that.
I want to talk about that competition still. Is that unheard of? You know, a 16-year-old going against adults, so is that normal? Because
normal. In track and field, you race... Age, they use age up to a certain extent, but once you get to a certain period, you start racing everyone. And you have to. Doesn't matter if I'm 18, I've just turned 18 and I'm racing a 30-year-old. You're all adults, you're all trying to make the...
You're gonna...
Yeah, you all just end up racing each other. And it's normal. You have to learn to deal with it from a young age. And I think being in a good environment at football from such a young age really helped me prepare for that.
Yeah.
So I was in a really good place. And although I was nervous, when I was on the start line, I had a job to do. I put my head down, focused, and I got on with it.
Of course, you got to perform when you're in pressure. That's it. That's what you do as an athlete. I want to talk about obviously the Olympics now, because that I could only even imagine. Because I used to do judo when I was a kid.
I remember you saying,
yeah. So if I stuck to it, I don't know where I would be, but I was really into that. So I remember getting a buzz when I was at a competition. Obviously, and there'll only probably be like 100 and odd people there. So I could not even imagine like the adrenaline you get when you're at Olympics. Talk about the process, and it's more about Is it? Correct me if I'm wrong, but for me, I think it's more mentally. Mentally preparing yourself, because you've done all the physical stuff right, you've done training correctly, you've eaten right. When it comes to that day, it's all if you're mentally prepared for it. So
100%. And I think in 2012 Olympic, I wasn't mentally prepared to be at an Olympic Games. I had no idea of the scale of the Olympics. Mm-hmm. And you think about it, you're at an Olympic Games, you're at the peak of competition with the best athletes from around the world. And for me, I was in the 100 meters. Every single person on that start line can run fast. Every single person is talented. What's going to give you that extra edge over everyone else? It's the mental side of it. And I wasn't mentally prepared to go out there and compete. I was scared. I wasn't prepared. So in the Olympic semi-final, so I made the Olympic semi-final. I got my semi-final heat through, and it said Tyson Gay and Johan Blake. And these are number 2 and number 3 on the all-time list of every sprinter ever. The fastest the fastest humans. The only other 2 people that have run fast. The only other person that's run faster than them is Usain Bolt. Yeah, so and the qualification was first to make it through for each semi. So I've got those 2 in my semi-final, and I'm just there mentally defeated before I've even started. I'm like, oh, what's the point? I've got no chance. And I was thinking about that more than thinking about my own race, and I wasn't mentally prepared to go into the stadium, and there was all these people screaming for me because you're the British athlete. Go Adam, go Adam. Yeah. And I was just like nervous as hell. I was trying to smile, but I was absolutely like cacking myself. I was so scared. Gun went, and I wasn't focused and had a really bad start. And I ended up coming through and finishing the race 3rd behind those 2. Mm-hmm. And I'd completely forgotten that there was a fastest loser. And I missed out on the fastest loser spot by 1 place. And I was so gutted, because if I'd been mentally switched on and mentally prepared, I could have had a better start, and I could have maybe made the Olympic final at 18. And I didn't. I missed out, and that was heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. And from that moment onwards, I said, I'm never going to be mentally unprepared going into championships. Started working with a psychologist who I still work with today, Steve Peters, who's genius, absolutely genius. If you ever need to read some stuff or need a psychologist to sort of look at, this guy has done everything. He's the best of the best. And since then, I always believe now, he taught me a lot of stuff mentally, but I always believe I'm the most mentally prepared athlete on the start line, because I don't just warm up physically, I warm up mentally in the hotel before I even go to the race. And nothing phases me. So
100%. I was about to say, after that was the process of you then obviously making yourself mentally prepared, mentally stronger for the next time. Obviously, you asked a question there, but
No, Steve was a genius, man. He just broke it down to me and just broke everything down. And he works with the chimp theory. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's sort of like you've got three parts of your brain. You got the chimp, you got the computer, and the human, and they all operate at different speeds. And your chimp is your fight or flight, which is what gives you the sort of am I scared, like, doubting yourself, and that can really impact your performance. You have to learn to cage the chimp and use the chimp to your advantage, and then sort of get into computer mode, which is autopilot. So you're not even thinking about sprinting, your body's just doing it naturally. Like when you drive, you don't really think about driving. You could be driving for 15 minutes and then suddenly just come around and think, I don't even really remember doing it, but your body was doing it naturally. So yeah, we work on those sort of techniques, and they're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. And yeah, he's, like I said, if anyone needs some psychology sort of work, this guy is brilliant. It's a long read. His book's a long read. I always say it to him, Steve, your first book's a long read, but it's well worth it. It's absolutely fantastic.
Cool.
It changed my life.
It's interesting. And is it something like, I can imagine mental health is quite, a big thing in the athlete sector of things. So is that something?
Yeah.
Is that something you commonly come across, especially with teammates as well? I can imagine you all have to keep each other in check and whatnot. So
yeah, mental health is, especially in sport and track and field, because there's no guarantees in this sport. You can train all year and then get hurt in the summer and you don't compete. And that is so hard to take. That's so depressing and so mentally draining. So you have to learn to sort of surround yourself with good people on the same mission as you, all working towards the same goal, and keep each other sort of sane and ready to go. And then a lot of people, especially in the sport, struggle with mental health after they finish competing. So when they retire, they don't really have a plan for their future. So it's tough because you've lived your whole life in this sort of routine. You get up, you eat, you go to training, and you come back and you recover for the next day of training. And that's been your life for the last 10, 15, 20 years, whatever you've been doing the sport for. And then for it to suddenly stop, you feel like you've got no purpose. And I know a lot of athletes who have spoken out about having that sort of mental health problems and depression because they just feel like they've got no real purpose in life. Yeah. And it's so tough to sort of listen to, because these are your friends and you can't really do anything to help. You try and be there for them, but yeah, it's people don't take it as seriously as it should be. Mental health is unreal and something that needs to be really focused on.
100%. It's very tough because, as well as you got to look at it as Olympians or people that do athletics and gymnastics and all these other things that only have, let's just kind of, running's a bit different to gymnastics, but you kind of got a one-shot chance in every 4 years when it comes to the Olympics, that is, anyway. Yeah, absolutely. It's the biggest competition. You miss that 4 years, see you in 4 years, mate. Exactly. So it is a lot of pressure, and I've got to admire it. Honestly, it is a tough game. So hats off to it. Yeah, it's anyone that wins an Olympic medal, doesn't matter what event, what sport, what distance they win it in. They were the best athlete who performed their best ahead of everyone else on that day. So you can't then say one gold medal is better than another gold medal, because to win those medals, it's so tough and so special, and it comes around so rare. Like, the Olympics is so rare that, yeah, I respect every single gold medalist or any single medalist at the Olympic Games, because they're tough. They're really, really tough to get. I can imagine. So speaking about future, I know obviously it's a bit of a touchy subject. People like to live in the moment, which I respect. Have you kind of had that thought process of, right, well, when I finish Olympics or when I finish becoming an athlete, what's next? Have you thought about anything like that in the future? Yeah, 100%. I've made plans. I'm making plans, and you have to. Yeah. You have to. I think it's so important. A lot of people just live in now and then they finish. I would love to get into governance of sport, and I believe I can really help make a change for the better, from grassroots all the way up to the top level. I think we need more former athletes in the governance of the sport to really help. And for me, that's something I'd love to get into. I'm in the process of setting up a foundation at the moment, which hopefully can all go through good. And then that can help a lot of young athletes as well coming into the sport, who maybe don't have the funding that they need to even get a pair of shoes or whatever. So that funding can hopefully help them. But yeah, that's in the process of being set up. So there's loads of little things that I've got ideas for.
any media stuff that people want me to do. If I'm successful enough on the track, then you get media obligations, which would be cool as well. But yeah, for me, the main focus would be governance.
Nice, man. That's nice, man. That's nice to hear. You're doing something good. Obviously, you've already stepped foot into that place. So yeah, I respect that.
Yeah, you try and make the plans. Otherwise, you're gonna finish and you're gonna be like, now what? And then once you're finished and you've got no plans, no one really cares because you're a has-been. You're an athlete who's done it, and then what? Unless you're Jessica Ennis or a Mo Farah or someone that's won loads of gold medals, you got to make your own way. It's really, really tough.
Of course. I want to talk about the sacrifices as well, because to become successful, that's with anything. You've got to be willing to obviously take a lot of sacrifices. So I just want to talk about the sacrifices you've made in order to, be that tunnel focus that you've got. Because every athlete's got it, really. I can't say certain athletes because every athlete has to have that tunnel vision. So what have you done in order to gain that mindset and obviously the sacrifices you've taken along the journey?
I feel like if you want to be successful, you have to sacrifice. You have to put the effort in, and it's not always going to be to your pleasure. There might be things that you want to do and you think you can get away with it, but trust me, you want to be the best of the best, you can't. I've sacrificed. I've moved myself away from my family and my friends, and relationships have split up. I've split up with ex-girlfriends because of this. Because I know I've only got a short period to do athletics. I've only got a short period to be in my prime and be as successful as I can before that time goes. I've missed out growing up as well. I've missed out on when I was at university. All my friends were going out, freshers, refreshers, all that sort of stuff. I couldn't do any of that. Couldn't do any of that. Living the normal uni life. I lived at home. I was training in the morning, really early in the morning, then going to university, then rushing back off to the track in the evening to do my gym session. Like it was, I've just sacrificed so much to try and be successful. And like I said, there's no guarantee, but I give myself every possible opportunity to be successful, and hopefully that's what happens. But yeah, if you want to be successful in anything in life, not just sport, you have to sacrifice and put the time in. And that's part of the process.
100%. And to be honest, lots of people love the process, and I think that's what it doesn't even feel like a sacrifice because you fall in love with it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I relate with that.
I do. I wake up. If I didn't enjoy what I do every day, I wouldn't do it. I'm not very I'm Florida. I'm in Florida.
So you're training out there at the moment, Florida.
So that's what. Yeah, I've moved myself up. Usually we'd be in Europe at the moment because of the season, the athletic season, but because of COVID, the season sort of pushed back or almost cancelled, really. So staying out here for as long as possible to get some training in before I come home next month, and I'll be home for the rest of the summer, really, which is unlikely. In my sort of how many years doing this sport, I've never been home for a summer. Never been. I can't remember the last time I was home for the summer. I get to see my friends and I'll get to sort of still race and stuff and train, but it's very different. The Olympics would have been this year, but now it's pushed back to next year. So we got a bit of time to chill and enjoy and actually spend some time with the people that you do love.
Of course. You're probably in the best place to do it as well, because you've got great weather.
Here, Florida is just, it's unbelievable, mate. It's 30 degrees at the moment, and it's not even 11:30 yet. So it's it's going to be a sweaty one today when we go outside and try and train. But yeah, I'd rather be hot than cold. So
do you do that on purpose as well in order to condition yourself to work in the heat? Is that the reason why you do that stuff?
The sun helps so much, man. Like British athletes are at such a disadvantage. Like you think when you're sprinting, your muscles are contracting, so you're getting tight and you're trying to run. Now imagine it's cold already. So your muscles have already got that contraction in them already before you even started sprinting, and then that's how you get stupid little injuries and little pulls and little niggles. You train in the sun with the sun on your back, you can take your vest off, take your top off, and just like soak up the vitamin D. Your muscles are long and stretched and elastic, and then a long relaxed elastic muscle is a fast muscle. So it makes such a difference. So these guys that have always grown up in America and the Caribbean and all these hot countries are living their best life, while the Brits are there struggling in the cold, sweeping up the snow off the track and just trying to run. Like it's two different sides of the coin. It's crazy.
Yeah, I bet. It makes sense though, doesn't it? It does make sense because there's some relaxation on the body. So
it's brilliant.
I want to talk about best moments that can be either on track or off track. I want to talk about I want to talk about both actually, because as an athlete, I kind of want to know what goes on behind the scenes as well. You know, like all the fun bits and stuff like that not many people know about. So we'll start off with that. Really, what's kind of the best things about being off track and doing? I don't even know what you do off track, so this is just an open question.
I'm pretty bored. Honestly, I don't really do too much off a track because I'm just trying to recover for the next day. But track and field has given me a lot of opportunities. I've met some fantastic people.
Yeah.
Visited, like I'm a huge Liverpool fan. Huge. Love and track and field has given me an opportunity. I went up to Liverpool's training ground, met the players, did some work with Andy Robertson, met Jurgen Klopp in his office. He was talking to me about everything like football, track and field. Went around the whole of Melwood. It was just like, that was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. It was brilliant. Like nothing, and track and field gave me that opportunity to do that. And I've met some of the best friends I'm ever going to make in track and field, and I'll keep for the rest of my time. Katarina Johnson-Thompson, Andy Posey, Di Green, Danny Talbot. There's, just to name a few, Holly Bradshaw. There's some friends that I've got now that they're just the best people. And track and field really lets you travel to some amazing places. I've been all over the world: Rio, China, Russia. I've been South Africa. I've been everywhere in Europe, like Australia, America. Like I've been to some crazy places and got some crazy experiences, and that's all from track and field. So it's not all hard. It's not all hard training. You do get to live and enjoy your life a little bit, and I've been able to provide for my family, which is a great thing. That's the thing I'm most proud of, is the fact it's given me an opportunity to make sure my family, we're not going to be struggling, and I can provide a sort of good lifestyle for them. So for me, that's what I'm sort of most grateful for.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, honestly, man. It's nice to hear. I just want to kind of end it on people that are kind of following, not even just with the athletic side of things, just going into sport. Any advice that you could give to people that are trying to, follow the footsteps in similar ways?
Just two bits of advice, really. I touched on one earlier. Is just enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
If you're not enjoying what you do, stop. Find something else you enjoy. I believe you get one life. Make sure you fill it with what you enjoy doing and what you love. Make sure you're waking up every day. You might be tired and you might be in pain, but that's not the same as not enjoying what you're doing. And the most important thing I'd say is to have patience. People develop at different rates. I was never always the fastest person. I didn't win every single race growing up. You might win every race, and then all of a sudden everyone overtakes you. Just have patience. Develop at your own rate. Like, listen to the people around you. Surround yourself with good people, and you will develop. And if you put the hard work in, you will get the results that you deserve. You might not be the fastest person in the world, but you'll be the best person that you can be, and that's all you can ask for. That's all you can do. So be patient. One person might be so far ahead when you're younger. Trust me, when you get a bit older and everyone sort of builds out, it all levels up in the end. And then it's like, right, man to man, let's go, let's race, and let's see who's the best athlete. So it's fantastic. But yeah, enjoy what you do and have patience, and surround yourself with great people who are not gonna like blow smoke and tell you're the best person, who can actually have an honest conversation with you and be like, yo, do you know what? You need to do this, or this is getting a bit too funny. Like, my family and friends are always so honest with me, and they keep me humble and they keep me grounded, and I love them for that. So yeah.
That, man. Honestly, that is such a key note. Like, surround yourself with like-minded people, or people that, that egg you on or are humble about certain things, because
and not just yes men. Just yes men.
Yeah. As soon as you get into that egotistical circle, it just becomes a competition. And
for sure,
sport, you don't want to be, well, it is a competition, but it's also a community where everyone's bonding, everyone gets on, and everyone's kind of like giving each other advice, and it's all love. So don't fall into that trap. But yeah, man, I appreciate your time and appreciate it.
Nah, my pleasure, man. My pleasure.
So
yeah, no problem. I appreciate you spending some time, mate. It's been cool.
Yeah, it's been cool, man. We'll have to. I don't know when you're going to be back in the UK, considering the coronavirus situation.
Yeah.
Whenever you're back.
Maybe July, man. Maybe July. July. Maybe August. I don't know yet. We'll see.
If I was you, I'd stay out there as long as possible.
Yeah, I heard things are still a bit crazy in the UK. Like,
yeah, it's a bit mad.
To be honest, America's the weirdest place, man. Like, people are not really taking this whole thing seriously. They're like, everything's open. People, you can go into restaurants, you can go and eat, you can go chill. Like, nothing's shut. Even when lockdown was like shut, things were still open. Drive-throughs were open and curbside and stuff. Like, it wasn't as serious as it was back in the UK, I think.
Not to badmouth anyone, but the president kind of doesn't help. Like, I think it's not the best.
He's decided. Yeah, they've had a lot of cases in America, which is really sad, actually. And people have now, because of what else is going on in the world, people have sort of forgotten about COVID. And it's crazy. That's the way it works. COVID's killing loads of people every single day, and people forget about it because of other issues, which are as important, if not more important. But COVID is still a prevalent sort of killer in the world.
I was speaking about, because it is a touchy subject, and I was speaking about it to one of my previous interviews that I was doing, and I was saying there's other ways of doing it, and I feel like people attend these protests because they feel like they have to, and that's not what the message is. The message is to kind of spread awareness, and that's in any sector.
It's awareness.
Yeah, social media.
Using your voice, using your platform to spread awareness doesn't, like, the protests are protests, and I get that, but there's other ways to do it as well, because not everyone feels comfortable with going out. My coach said to me, obviously being in America, he was like, stay away from the protest, Adam. So what do you mean? He was like, listen, you're British, so you're not American. So if you get anything happens to you, get arrested, you're going to be deported. He said, stay away. If you want to do your message, do it online, or talk to people, but just for the sake of you and your safety, just stay away from the protests in America, because you do not want to get mixed up in something crazy. And the police here are, the police here are a bit crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a few video clips, man. It's mad, man. It's a crazy world we're living in right now. We've got so much stuff happening, but I mean, there's going to be positive light that comes out of the end of it. There's definitely a change already. I don't know if you've seen the news or keep up with the news in UK, but I think UK has agreed to take all the slave traders' statue down. So
I didn't see that. Fantastic! Finally, it should have happened a long time ago, but good. It's crazy that a protest had to happen for that to go ahead, but good.
Exactly. But good things are happening, man. So it is a good thing. But just if anyone's attending protests, just be safe. That's all I say.
For sure. Just be safe and do it in the right way.
100%. And if you're attending just because you feel like you have to, you don't have to. I mean, just to show your respect and appreciation in other ways. But yeah, that's going off the topic a little bit. But yeah, appreciate it.
Nah, my pleasure, man. My pleasure.
And thank you a lot.
Nah, cool. Just let me know. Just let me know when you get it all sorted, and I'll share it. I'll do my best to share it, man.
Will do, for sure, man. Stay safe.
Brilliant, man. Will do, mate. Bless. Take care. Bye.